All right, so today we're here with Carl and Birdie, and this is their roadmap to success. We're teaching Birdie not to jump up and demand attention through pawing at the leg. That's much better. Okay, so when I first got here, they were pretty excitable dogs, and they didn't have a lot of rules in place. When dogs don't have rules in place, they tend to see themselves as potentially taking over a leadership position, and they can sometimes create jobs of their own, such as some issues they have here today, like barking out the window at other dogs and barking at the door. So our primary concern today was working on establishing leadership for both of the dogs as their guardians, as the leaders, them as followers, and then to help them stop barking at dogs and people passing by the doorway, and helping gain self-control so they stopped having kind of anxious behaviors. The first thing that we decided to do is to work on establishing new rules. So the dogs have two new rules. One is no furniture for 30 days or until the behavioral problems have been resolved that you called me about. So if they were still having some issues at the door, barking at the door, at dogs outside, then still no furniture. Since there's two dogs, that might mean that one dog has privileges to be on the furniture before the other one. So to kind of use your best estimate on their behavior as a rule of thumb on when to move forward with allowing them back on the furniture. Remember, once they're allowed on the furniture, it's only furniture with permission. Okay, make sure that they sit first, and then you can give them permission. Use a command word specific to getting up on the furniture, such as up. And then if they were to jump off the furniture on their own, then they have to ask permission again by sitting and then getting the command word up. Do this throughout the rest of their life, so they're always putting yourself in the position as the leader, them looking to you for direction, and then they're looking to you, and it's always establishing that on a daily basis. Over time, you won't have to ask them to sit. They'll come over on their own, sit automatically, like Birdie just did, and then you can give them a command word for up to get on the furniture. All right, the next rule is that they should be sitting before going through any doorway. So if they're about to go through the front door or the sliding glass door to go outside to go potty, they need to be able to sit first and make sure that they have calm energy. Remember, whatever energy they have inside the house, they will bring that outside. If they're really hyped up and anxious and like, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna go potty, or we're gonna go for a walk, then they're going to have that energy when they get outside. And if you run into a neighborhood dog, they will bring that energy level and probably get more anxious, and it's harder for them to gain self-control when they're already at that kind of threshold. So if you have them start off calm, it's easier for you to direct them to focus on you versus focusing on the other dog if they're in a calmer state. Then, which brings me to petting with a purpose. Remember, every time you pet your dog, you're rewarding them for their behavior. So if they're acting poorly, such as being anxious about a dog outside, and you try to pet them to soothe them, you're really reinforcing for them that barking or being anxious about the dogs outside is a good thing. So make sure not to pet your dogs when they are acting anxious or barking or any kind of behavior that's not appropriate, and pet them for good behavior. Now remember, you can pet your dogs as much as you want to once they do something that's appropriate. So if they come over for attention, ask them to sit, you can pet them for 2 hours. It doesn't matter how long you pet them, as long as they started off with on good behavior. And then to use the escalating consequences to disagree with the dogs if they're doing something that is inappropriate. Now, I want you to practice the leadership exercise with both dogs, both of the guardians, once a day. So each guardian works with both of the dogs once a day, and do this for the next 2 weeks to help establish the leadership change of dynamics. The other thing I want you to do is make sure to keep doing the claiming the door exercise in the video above at least once a day, with both guardians being the one to move the dogs away from the doorway. Remember, you can use this for both the front door to go out into the hallway or the door but with a sliding glass door, so you can keep them away from the door when other dogs are nearby. Make sure that you and both guardians are on the same page about where that invisible boundary is, and to not cross it yourself, because you don't need to cross the boundary, so you're setting that firm, hard line of where the boundary is. All right, and the other thing is that you can use our counter conditioning method to help the dogs gain self-control when you are out and about and the dogs are responding to another dog. Use the treats, remember, in the counter conditioning way, and give them treats for calm behavior. The farther you are away from another dog, the easier it will be for your dog to gain self-control. Remember that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.